Deputy Troop, as we saw in the video, you were the first person to approach Deputy Bill on the roadway?
Yes, sir.
Other than the neighbor who first came out and you seen dialing 911?
Yes, sir.
Was Deputy Bill's weapon still in her holster?
Yes, it was.
Still strapped in? Still strapped in?
Yes, sir.
Did you ultimately remove it and place it in your vehicle for safekeeping?
Yes, I did.
Now, as your vehicle was approaching O'Galley, heading northbound on John Rose Boulevard, you had activated your lights and siren, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Why was that?
Well, because I felt from what she was saying that she could be in danger. I didn't know, so I just activated my lights to get there quicker.
And that's what activated the in-car camera in your case, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, as you were approaching O'Galley Boulevard, you could hear shots over the radio. Did you not? They actually come out on your in-car video?
I didn't hear them at the time. The sirens were loud in the car, and I was paying attention to what I was driving and getting there.
I understand, but on the in-car video, once you got a chance to look at it, you actually see that the shots are carried over the radio, are they not?
Yes, sir.
How did that happen? Do you understand how the shots were able to be transmitted over the radio?
Well, she had a...
Yes or no?
Yes.
How is it?
Overall.
Explain how an officer activates the microphone to transmit over the radio.
Well, she had a setup on her radio to where she could activate it from her button up here on her shirt.
In fact, in her video, you can actually see her just before she is shot, reaching up to touch the button.
Yes, sir. You can see each other and touching. Yes, sir.
Her last act before being shot then was to get to the radio to call for help.
Yes, sir.
I'm showing you what has been admitted as State's Exhibit 37. Photograph depicting the location of the vehicle and Deputy Bill's vehicle at the crime scene.
Yes, sir.
Take it. that the vehicles were left there for some period of time after the incidents of the crime scene to complete their investigation? I can't hear the question. I'm sorry. I take it that the vehicles were left there for some period of time at the crime scene so that the crime scene unit could complete its investigation?
Yes, sir.
That's the reason why you have 2 hours worth of videotape on your video, even though we only played about 10 minutes.
Yes, sir.
Your witness, counsel.
Okay, what we're going to do is take a brief recess, about a 5-minute recess. We're going to move the machine out of the way, and so court will be in recess for about 5 minutes. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Okay, court will be in recess until 1:45. Just so you know, I'm not going to leave the courtroom, but court will be in recess. Thank you. Yes, you may. Okay, we can bring the jury into the courtroom.
All rise for the jury.
Please be seated. Cross-examination by the defense.
No question.
Okay, Deputy Troop, at this time, thank you for your testimony. You're free to step down.
State calls Agent Don Reynolds.
Agent Reynolds. Sir, if you'll step up before the clerk to be sworn. Sir, please have a seat in the witness chair. When seated, if you will, scoot your chair forward. Do adjust that microphone. Do talk into that microphone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
If you would please state your name for the record,
My name is Don Reynolds.
and how are you employed,
I'm employed with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit
and what capacity?
as an agent.
Are you a sworn law enforcement officer?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office?
I've been with the Sheriff's Office since 1996.
If you could speak up just a little bit so
Okay.
the microphone captures everything you're saying. There's our recording system nowadays. What is your participation in the investigation into the death of Deputy Barbara Pill on March 6th of 2012?
I was assigned as the lead and agent in the investigation.
Were you on duty at the time of the shooting on the morning of March 6th of 2012?
Yes, I was.
Where were you located at the time?
At the time of the shooting, I was at 340 Gus Hip, which is in Rockledge.
That's the Criminal Investigations Division office.
Yes.
How did you learn about the shooting?
Well, once the shooting occurred, we heard radio traffic in our building, and at that point, immediate response began to, all agents began responding to the area of Elena Way and John Rhodes.
And did you do that yourself?
Yes, I did.
Were you alone in your vehicle at that time?
Yes, I was.
Where did you go first?
I initially and first responded to the area of Elena Way and John Rhodes.
And did you remain at that location?
I remained exactly at that place.
And what essentially were your responsibilities as the assigned case agent for the investigation?
At that time, significant information was coming in from various areas, from the location at Econo Lodge, from Elena Way, to a residence on Janewood, to the incident where Mr. Brandon Bradley was arrested. So what I was doing from the Elena Way area was coordinating all the efforts to facilitate all the different crime scene investigations.
So essentially you were directing the personnel to go to the various crime scenes and to begin to conduct the investigations.
And that's exactly correct.
And you basically remained in overall supervisory capacity throughout the investigation, is that correct?
And that is correct.
Once Mr. Bradley was in custody, did you also assign agents to interrogate him?
Yes, I did.
And who were the agents you assigned?
The two individuals would be Wayne Simmock and Mike Spatafora.
As part of the investigation, did you yourself do other things personally as opposed to just supervising?
Yes.
Were you aware that at the Janewood address that you talked about, that there was an allegation that Ms. Kirchner... Rephrase.
Okay.
Did you become aware that there was a cell phone seized from the garage on the residence on Janewood?
Yes.
And did you do anything to obtain the records of that cell phone?
Yes, I did.
What did you do?
I facilitated and completed a search warrant and requested a search be done of that cell phone.
Did you determine the number of the cell phone when you did that?
Yes, I did.
Oh, what that was?
Not off the top of my head.
Did you cause to have a subpoena issued for the records for that phone for the date of March 6th, 2012?
Yes, I also requested to correspond with the information that was in the phone. I sent off to have the phone records for that specific phone, subpoenaed the information from the direct carrier.
Your Honor, pursuant to the business record certification and the notice of intent to rely thereon, the state will move into evidence at this time. The state's exhibit for identification BJ, records of the cell phone.
What is it, DJ?
B is in boy, J is in Juliet. Yeah, the appropriate.
Yes, you may. Hold on. Okay, District Master. BJ shall be received as State's Exhibit 45.
Agent Reynolds, showing you what has been marked as State's Exhibit 45 in evidence. Are those the records relating to that cell phone for the date of March 6th of 2012?
Yes.
Now, what was the purpose that you requested the records for?
Usually what we do is if we have the phone, we can download information from the phone, and this is another means by looking to make sure by sending off to Metro PCS a subpoena, you get subscriber information. Sometimes the subscriber information has the individuals' names on it who are actually the individuals who have the phone.
And in this particular case, who was the subscriber listed for the phone that was taken from the garage on hand?
The name on this subpoena, subpoenaed information is Denise Kircher.
Did you determine who Denise Kirchner was?
Yes, she was.
Overruled.
She was determined to be a family member of Andrea Kirchner.
Andrea Kirchner?
Yes.
Specifically, did you utilize the records to attempt to locate witnesses who may or may not have information about the shooting of Deputy Bill?
Yes, I focused my attention around the time periods of the shooting and the incident.
According to the videotape we just saw a few minutes ago, the shooting occurred, at least according to the time stamp on Deputy Phil's vehicle, at about 11:11 a.m., 11:10 a.m.
Yeah. Right between 11:11 and 11:13.
And did you examine the phone records that are now on Exhibit 45 to determine if any phone calls had been made from that phone call at or about the time of the shooting?
Yes, I did.
And what, if anything, did the records reflect?
I found one specific phone call of interest that came in at approximately 10:48 hours in the morning, and it was for approximately 32 minutes and 32 seconds. What was of interest, it was placed on call waiting. Didn't know who the phone number came to, so I started the process in trying to locate that phone number and who it was associated with.
And what was the number that called the Kirchner phone?
The phone number that called Kirchner's phone, as well as received phone calls from Kirchner's phone, was area code 208-2553.
So according to those records, that phone would have been activated for a 32-minute period beginning at 10:48 in the morning?
Based upon looking at this information here, the duration of the call was for 32 minutes and 32 seconds
Starting at 10:48?
at 10:48 in the morning,
So it would take us to approximately 11:20?
11:20 in the morning.
And who, if anyone, did it lead to that you went to speak to about the phone call?
Doing public information requests, that phone number came back to a Jeffrey Jamie Dieguez.
Did you go interview Mr. Dieguez?
They located Mr. Dieguez, yes.
Now, are you familiar with the area of Aurora Road, Carrollwood Road, Janewood Road, Carywood Road, and leading on out to Turtle Mountain?
Yes.
If I could I ask you to step down from the stand for a second and go look at an exhibit and tell me if you can identify it? Just step over here for a second.
You want to say what the ID, the exhibit?
It's Exhibit 8X.
Okay.
Agent Reynolds, you've had an opportunity to look at Exhibit 8X. Does that accurately reflect the layout of the streets of Aurora Road, John Rhodes Boulevard, Turtle Mound, Carrollwood, Janewood, and Carywood?
Yes, it does.
Did you in fact actually visit all of those locations as part of your investigation?
Yes, I did.
The state would move that Exhibit AX into evidence at this time.
Okay, response from the defense? Okay. AX will be received as State's Exhibit 46.
And request permission to publish both of those exhibits to Agent Reynolds.
Yes, you may.
As part of your investigation, did you also go to the Econo Lodge York Inn Hotel?
Yes, I did.
Did you also drive from the hotel to the shooting scene on Atlanta Way?
Yes, I did.
Did you do it specifically at my request for the purpose of determining the distance and approximate time it would take someone to go from one place to the other?
Yes, I did.
Starting first on the other side. Judge, I move.
Yes, you may. Yes.
If you would, Agent Reynolds, step down. I believe you placed on the map the arrows that depict the location of the hotel, is that correct? And keep your voice up, so.
Excuse me, the hotel is right here, which would be towards the south portion of the map.
And the shooting scene on Atlanta Way?
It would be right up here at this area, John Rhodes, the Lane Way intersection, right here.
And did you have an occasion, indicated to make the drive from the back part of the hotel where the incident took place all the way up to the shooting scene?
Yes, I did.
And what was the approximate distance from one spot to the other?
Approximately 3.5 miles.
And approximately how long does it take someone driving at an average rate of speed to get there?
It was approximately 45 in here, with various lights at intersections in here, between 9 to 10 minutes.
And you indicated that the shooting took place at approximately 11, 12. 11:13.
11:13.
And on the other side, this is the area I asked you about with Carrollwood, Janewood. With respect to this location, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury where the shooting scene would be? If you just off the bottom of the map, it's not, it'd be right below where the map ends on this, correct?
This
And if you would, show where John Rhodes goes and turns into Aurora Road.
roads, this ends up being Aurora.
Aurora Road going.
Aurora Road goes east-west right here to turn left.
Right. And where is Carrollwood?
Carrollwood is right here.
Sort of parallel.
Running east and west. Parallels somewhat with Aurora Road and Turtle Mound. One's north and south.
And where's the Janewood Street that you're referring to?
Janewood would be directly north of Carrollwood. Or, I'm sorry, Carrollwood is here. Janewood is directly north right here.
And Carywood
And Carywood is directly north of that.
actually curves all the way back to around next to Carrollwood.
That's correct.
And then Turtle Mound is here.
And this is Turtle Mound.
And farther north, I guess the last one we show on this is the Lake
Lake
Washington.
Washington.
And then where would the Parkway be?
That'd be north of there.
So there was a crime scene on Parkway and Turtle Mound.
There's a crime scene here on Parkway and Turtle Mound.
Crime scene on Janewood, is that?
Janewood would be right in here.
Crime scene at the shooting.
And the crime scene down here at the shooting. And then another crime scene down at the hotel.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. No further questions at this time, Judge?
Okay. Cross-examination by the defense.
Could I have a minute?
Yes, you may.
Agent Reynolds, bring all the records related to 208, or all of the records related to 208-4873 with you?
Did I bring them here today?
Yes, sir.
No, I did not.
You did not. You brought, what did you bring with you today?
I reviewed this material right here today and yesterday, which is a subpoenaed information.
So you brought 6 pages of the records with you today. Let me ask you to take a look. This, see if that's the other part of the records that you didn't bring with you today. You know?
This right here is the download that came from Andrea Kirchner's phone records.
At least from that phone, that is
It's right here.
208-4873. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. So those records are part of the same phone number, right?
That's correct.
And when the download came as a result of your subpoena.
No, the download of this information right here came from the result of a search warrant that I have obtained.
Okay.
Okay? This right here was based upon a subpoena for the moments of the time period for March 6th for a small portion of time. I requested a small portion of time from on March 6th between the shooting.
Now, the 208-4873 has a contact list, right? There's a contact
There's a
list.
contact list on here, yes.
And the 208-2553 number that you're talking about matches up with certain contacts. Is that correct?
That is correct.
That contact is identified as Fool. F-O-O-L.
I'll have to look to
That's
see
the
it.
name on the contact.
That is correct.
Okay? And in the records, isn't it true that there are phone calls identified as to Fool up into May and June in those records? May and June of 12.
Objection. Records aren't added.
Sustained.
Isn't it true that there are text messages within those phone records that you didn't bring today that are dated as between April and up to June of 2012?
You're saying the records have not been admitted?
He's sustained.
Now, the records that you did bring today that have been admitted,
I don't think there's any testimony brought in records.
the records that have been admitted that you presented today, you've identified the 321-208-2553 as there being multiple calls on the morning of March 6th.
208-2553. There are multiple calls on that morning.
Okay? And who initiated the first call? Which number?
Based upon the records from March 6th, starting at the early morning hours of March 6th, which would be midnight, 0000 hours on March 6th, it would be on the phone records here. It indicates that there were a number of phone calls made by Jeffrey Dominguez, starting on or about, it appears to be 06:30 hours in the morning approximately.
So 6:30 in the morning, Mr. Dieguez begins phoning Andrea Kirk, apparently from the records.
That's correct.
And how many phone calls in total did Mr. Dieguez place on Andrea Kirchner's phone according to these records? You
You want total phone calls between them, or do you want just what Mr. Dominguez?
Okay.
What are,
The initiator was Dieguez.
yes, I'm
Correct?
sorry, stand corrected, Mr. Dieguez. You want what he initiates. Approximately 9 calls.
Right? And he began the calling, right?
Yes.
Now, the records, nine calls between 6:35 a.m. and the last call being
And the last call being at 10:48.
and that's the lengthy phone call that would fall within the time frame of the shoot.
That's correct.
Now, call waiting, what does that mean?
It appears that call waiting is a phone call comes in, and when a phone call comes in, the person is placed on either on a wait status, it's not answered, or it is answered, it's put on like a hold.
And assuming, for a moment, assuming that these records are accurate, you're not at all connected to Metro PCS, are you?
No.
But assuming their accuracy, there was a phone call waiting with Mr. Villegas and Kurt at the time of the shoot.
Well, if you're assuming their accuracy,
Well, apparently you are.
well, what I did was I assumed it, and then I went and verified it.
Right. So you assumed that Jeffrey Villegas and Kirchner were on the phone at the time of the homicide when you went to interview Jeffrey Villegas. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, redirect.
Reynolds, I know it's been a while since you looked at those records, and the original copy's not marked up like mine is. But let me direct your attention to a call made at 06:18:51, so 6:18 and 51 seconds in the morning. Do you see that call?
Yes.
That's an outgoing call from Ms. Kirchner's phone, is that correct?
And that is correct.
And what number does that go to?
That goes to Mr. Villegas.
So that was the first call that morning was made by Ms. Kirchner
Yes.
to Mr. Villegas.
Yes, it's apparent an oversight, and I did not see that.
And what's the duration of that call?
That is approximately 1 minute and 30 seconds, 1:27 precise on it.
The next call between those two numbers is an incoming call from Mr. Villegas to Ms. Kirchner at what time?
The next call is at 6:33.
That's unrelated, is that correct?
That is an unrelated phone call at 6:33.
And the next call,
Then the next call is at 7:12.
and what's the duration on that?
The 7:12 is approximately 8 seconds.
That's an incoming call from Mr. Villegas.
That would be an incoming call from Mr. Villegas.
The next call after that,
Is at 7:15,
duration,
approximately 32 seconds.
once again, is that an incoming call from Mr. Villegas?
That's an incoming call from Mr. Villegas that went to call forwarding.
Next,
The next is at 7:21 for 19 seconds. That also is a call that went to call forwarding and was from Mr. Villegas.
Next.
The next one's at 7:36 for 5 seconds, also went to call forwarding, and that is also from Mr. Villegas.
next,
The next one is at 8:24 for 17 seconds. That also went to call forwarding and was also from Mr. Villegas.
next,
The next one is at 08:32 for 32 seconds. and that also went to call forwarding, and that is also from Mr. Dieguez listed.
Next.
The next is at 0948, and that is also a call, went to call forwarding, and that is also from Mr. Dieguez.
So there was an outgoing call from Ms. Kirchner to Mr. Dieguez at 6:18 in the morning, and then from 7:12 in the morning to 9:48, there were numerous attempts by Mr. Dieguez to call back to Ms. Kirchner, but none of which were answered.
That is correct.
Next phone call is an outgoing, not the next one, but 2 calls down, again, related to the same 2 numbers, 10-13-10. Can you tell us about that call from the records?
Okay. At 10:13:10, there's an outgoing call from Ms. Kirchner's to Mr. Dieguez.
And what was the duration of that?
That was 1 minute and 37 seconds.
And the next one?
The next one is also an outgoing call from Ms. Kirchner's phone to Mr. Dieguez, and that was a total time of approximately 1:29.
And then the very next call?
And the next call is an incoming call, which is at 10:48 hours for 32 minutes and 32 seconds, and that is coming from Mr. Dieguez.
And that's the one you wanted to go talk to
And that's
Dieguez about?
the one I wanted to talk to him about.
No further questions?
Okay, Reed Cross?
Yeah, assuming that the records that were posted as of those days are accurate.
Once again, when you receive information, I assume that that is correct.
All right,
I went and verified that information upon contact
with Mr. Diaz.
with Mr. Dieguez.
And when did you first meet with Mr. Diaz?
That would have been April 16th.
April 16th?
Yes.
About 5 weeks after the shoot.
It took a period of time for Metro PCS to respond.
Thank you.
Okay, sir, thank you for your testimony. You're free to step down. Okay, other witnesses on behalf of the state.
State calls Jeffrey Dieguez.
Okay, sir. Do you present yourself before the clerk to be sworn?
I do.
Okay, sir, if you'll talk into that microphone, it helps us hear your testimony. Mr. McMaster?
Thank you. Good morning, sir. If you would, please state your name for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
My name is Jeffrey Jamie Dieguez, Senior.
How old are you, sir?
I'm 50 years old.
Are you currently employed?
No, sir, I'm disabled.
And how did you get disabled?
I had an accident at work.
How long ago was that?
Happened in 1995.
Are you still undergoing treatment and rehabilitation as a result of the injuries?
Yes, sir, I am.
Mr. Dieguez, do you know an individual by the name of Andrea Kirchner?
Yes, I do.
How do you know her?
I met her through her sister.
And how long ago was it that you met Ms. Kirchner?
Can you say that again? I didn't hear you.
Yes, sir. How long ago was it that you met Ms. Kirchner?
I'd only known her a short time.
You were involved in an incident on March 6th of 2012, the day that Deputy Barbara Phil was shot. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
In relation to the date that Deputy Phil was shot, how long had you known Andrea Kirchner at that time?
Approximately about a year.
And did you have an occasion to talk to her on the telephone that day, March 6th of 2012?
Yes, sir, I did.
In particular, there were a series of phone calls between you and Ms. Kirchner. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the last phone call that you got from her, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what happened.
I received a phone call from Ms. Kirchner asking me if I knew anybody that was interested in buying some heroin.
What, if anything, did you tell her?
I told her I didn't know anybody that did heroin, and I didn't think I could help her with anything.
What happened next?
She told me to hold on for a minute, and I overheard a situation that was going on her end of the phone.
What was going on her end of the phone that you were able to hear?
I overheard.
Okay, the objection by the defense has been previously addressed and it's overruled.
Go ahead, sir. First of all, how long a period of time was there an open line that you were able to hear conversation on the other end of the phone?
I heard approximately about 30 minutes, maybe longer.
Okay. And what was it that you were hearing during that time period?
I was hearing an altercation between Ms. Kirchner and a gentleman that she was with.
You had actually spoken to Ms. Kirchner, so you knew that it was her that you were listening to. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. When she called me, yes, I knew it was her.
All right. And could you tell what the sex was of the other individual on the phone?
It was her boyfriend at the time, a black male.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you heard.
I heard that they were being pulled over. I heard a siren.
Was it an actual siren, or as you described, a chirp or beep beep?
It was roop, 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 like when a cop first initially goes to pull you over, they'll turn their siren on and then they'll turn it off, like an indication that you're being pulled over.
Right. After you heard that noise, what did you hear?
There was a confrontation between Mr. Kirchner and the black male.
What was the conversation that you heard?
The black male was yelling at her to give him the gun because apparently.
Don't say apparently. Tell us what it is you actually.
Okay. They were being pulled over. She did mention they were being pulled over, and the male, which indicated that he wanted her to give him the gun so that he can shoot the police officer that was pulling him over, because he said that the bitch had his tag number and saw his face, and he had to kill this bitch.
Is that what he actually said?
Yes.
And was it just one remark, or did this go on for a period of time?
This went on for a period of time.
What was Ms. Kirchner's response when he said these things?
She indicated that, and was pleading with him, that he didn't need to do this, and was literally begging him not to do this. And he continued to yell at her, "Give me the fucking gun. Give me the fucking gun. I'm going to kill this bitch because she has saw my face and has my tag number, and I'm not going to prison."
How many times did that conversation go back and forth between Ms. Kirchner and the man?
Well, when the emotions like that run high, you really don't know how long it took. Because at the time, I wasn't thinking about time limit. I was just listening to the conversation. It went on for a period of time, and all I could really can literally hear her screaming, "Baby, please stop. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do this." I mean, she repeatedly said that several times, that she didn't want him to do this.
What happened next?
I heard what to me was gunshots, pop, pop, pop. And after I heard all that, then the phone conversation ended.
Did you disconnect the phone, or was it disconnected at the other end, or do you know?
I think it was disconnected by the other end.
After you heard these things, did you do anything?
I'd actually been talking to her sister about going over there to her parents' house and chilling with her. And when I got to her sister's house, which was actually her mom's house, at the same time that I got there, she received a phone call from her mom saying that her sister, Miss Kirsten, was involved in a shooting with the police.
Did you want to get involved in that?
No, sir, I did not want to be involved in none of it.
You were on probation at the time?
Yes, sir, I was.
In fact, still on probation.
And I am still on probation.
Did there come a time ultimately that agents with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office located you through phone records and came to talk to you?
Yes, sir, they did.
No further questions?
Okay, cross-examination by the defense.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You indicate that you know Andrea for her sister. How long have you known her sister?
You're asking me how long I knew her?
How long you knew her sister?
I had only recently met her sister, probably a couple months ago.
A couple of months ago.
Yeah, something like that. I really don't know how long it was. Where I lived at, she used to come over there and hang out with a guy named Phil that lived in the complex where I lived at, and that's how I met her.
Who'd you know longer?
Who have I known longer? Well, I had known Miss Kirshner because
They're both Miss Kirshner.
yeah, well, Andrea, I could say I loved longer because she was dating a friend of Phil's, a much larger black guy at the time, and they used to come over to go swimming at the pool, and then I had met her sister. I can't say I knew her sister that well. I mean, I didn't know her sister well enough to where we were like good friends or not. We just were basically acquaintances.
But the day that the shooting, you just happened to be going through Bill with her?
Yes, sir. It was a coincidence that I happened to be going over there. She had called me and asked me, I think she needed a ride or something. I don't really recall why. I was going over to meet her, and I did not know that her sister, Andrea, was involved in this shooting at the time.
When did you find out that, when did you find out that a shooting had occurred?
When did I know the shooting occurred?
Yeah.
When I got the phone call from Andrea, and I overheard the whole conversation.
Okay. When did you know that a law enforcement officer had been killed?
I didn't find that out until after I got to Andrea's mom's house, and at that time, her sister stated that she had to go meet her mom because her sister was involved in a shooting that had to do with the police officer.
What time of day was this we're talking? when you went over and there was this phone call with the sister?
It was pretty much in the morning, like, like before noon, maybe, I think. I don't really exactly remember the time. I mean, because once she had told me about her sister being involved in the shooting, I was like kind of stunned because I mentioned to her that I overheard that her sister had called me, and then there was an altercation by what I heard on the phone, where she was being pulled over by the police with her boyfriend. And at that time, she told me her mom was coming over, so I left and went back to my place. I mean, it happened quick.
Okay. How quickly after this phone call that you're overhearing did you go to her sister?
I didn't live far from probably maybe 10 minutes.
So 10 minutes after the phone call, you go to her sister?
Yes, sir. Approximately 10 minutes.
And didn't you tell the police that you saw this about the shooting of the officer on the news? That's when you learned about it.
It was all over the news, yes, it was.
You saw the news before you went and saw her sister.
I don't recall if I saw the news first. I can't say that I did or not. I didn't know that Andrea was involved in any shooting other than what I heard on the phone, but whether it was related to what was on TV, that I don't know, other than when I got to the mother's house, that I was told that her sister was involved in a shooting with the police with her boyfriend.
During the phone call, you indicated that, during your testimony, you indicated that you heard the black male, Andrew's boyfriend. You never knew, you didn't recognize that voice, did you?
When she called me, yes, I knew it was her boyfriend on the phone, on the other end of the line.
You did? Did you ever say that you didn't know that? You wouldn't be able to identify that voice? That you couldn't identify him from Joe Blow?
I might have said that, yeah, but it took me a while to realize that that was her boyfriend, because in the conversation, she had mentioned she was with her boyfriend, I think.
And you gave a deposition in this case, right?
Sorry, I didn't hear you.
Sir?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You gave a deposition in this case, right?
Yes, sir, I did.
And you were asked the following question. Page 23, line 19. The voice you heard on the phone when you were listening in, the male voice, was that a voice you recognized or not? Say that one more time. The voice you heard of the male voice on the phone when you were listening in, is that a voice that you recognized? You recall this response. I wouldn't recognize him, no. I wouldn't recognize him to be John Blow. I wouldn't know him because I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I said that at the time. Like I said, I had to think about it. I don't know Mr. Bradley. I've only seen him a couple of times, but I wasn't 100% sure if it was him or not.
No. When you were asked the following question, at page 22, is that somebody you recognize that you've met before? It's not somebody I recognize. No, I don't know him or would have known him. You remember giving that answer?
I might have, yeah.
You take, because of your medical conditions, you take a number of narcotic medications, don't you?
Yes, sir, I do.
About 18 pills a day. That sound about right?
Approximately throughout the day, yes.
It varies, right?
Excuse me?
It varies.
I'm sorry.
Does it vary, the number
Yeah.
of pills?
Throughout the day, I take about 18 pills. Some pills I take twice.
And some of that's due to your medical condition.
Yes, sir.
You got high blood pressure, you got back injuries.
Yes,
and
sir.
You have to take various pain medications.
Yes, sir.
Some of that's due to your psychiatric history.
Yes, sir.
Now that deposition that you took, that was February 18th, about a month ago, sound about right?
I'm sorry, you lost me.
The date of the deposition, that was about a month ago, right?
That y'all came to see me in the
Yes.
hospital? Yes, I think so, about that time.
Okay. Who called who that day? Who? How many times did you talk to Andrew that day? Or how many times? Strike that. Okay. How many times did you call Miss Kirchner that day?
No, this is the day that you're asking me the day that I'm confused. You're asking me the day that she called me on the phone?
Sure. That March 6th, the day of the deputy. How many times did she?
I think she called me a few times, and then I called her back a few times. I don't remember the number of times, though.
So who called who first?
I don't remember.
Well, if the records say that you called her first, would that be right?
I really don't remember, sir.
Well, your testimony is that she called you looking to see if you wanted to buy some heroin, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, are you saying that she called you first?
I want to...
Okay, overall,
I don't really remember if she called me or I talked to her. I know that some of the times that I used to have to call her to be able to get in touch with her sister. So
Well,
I don't remember.
why were you? If the records say you called first, why were you calling?
To get in touch with her sister.
What time did you call her?
I don't remember, sir.
Well, what would you normally call her at 6:30 in the morning?
Sometimes, yes. I may want to make plans to go to the beach or to do something.
So you go to the beach with her sister sometimes?
I've gone to the beach with her, yes, on occasion.
And do you remember what you talked about at all that first phone call?
I don't remember, no.
And if the records indicate that you had about a minute and a half phone call when you first called her, during that first phone call, when you called her, did she try to sell you heroin then?
I'm gonna,
Okay, sustain the objection.
I'm sorry, but I don't.
Okay.
Sustain the objection. Next question.
Now, if the records indicate, need some water, Mr. Diego?
Please,
We'll get you some water.
I've got a cold, I'm sorry.
Mr. Diego? Jot down your phone number. So, working with a different phone. Or a different number, anyway.
I'm sorry, what
You're
was that?
working with a different number now, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Do you remember your phone number that they had March 6th, 2012?
I don't remember the full numbers, but I know it was a 208 number.
Okay. 208 2553.
That's a possibility, yeah. That rings a bell.
You can't say for certain that that was your number then.
I can't say it's 100%, but I know it was a 208 number.
Okay. Is if the records indicate that you called Miss Kirchner's phone 7 times between 7 a.m., 7:12, and 9:48. You with me, Mr. Higgins?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If the records say you called her 7 times between 9:48, or between 7:12 and 9:48, would you dispute that?
If it says I did, then I guess I did.
So apparently you were really trying to get a hold of Andrea at that point.
I don't think I was trying to get a hold of her. I think I was trying to get a hold of her sister.
Okay, so you really wanted to talk to her sister,
Yeah.
but you can't remember what.
Well, a lot of times I try to get in touch with her to go to the beach or to hang out with, or to come over to my apartment and lay out by the pool,
Now, you indicated that you heard during this phone call